Mike, it's hard to watch. Replays I see, it does look like people are open at times. Mike, people getting just absolutely scotch-free, whatever the hell they say out on the streets, all right? With blitzes, we're talking about a quarterback that we're going, wait, you played all this football, and they brought a weak side linebacker and a free safety blitz, and we don't block anybody. There's no adjustment to the protection or anything. Like things that, to me, as a quarterback that played 8 years and a guy that expects a lot out of someone like Russell Wilson, I just went, some of the stuff I'm just going, damn. I mean, he's got to go back to the drawing board. We're missing some basics here as far as what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball, Mike.
There's clearly a disconnect between the Nathaniel Hackett system that he supposedly constructed specifically for Wilson, along with his system. He mentioned that after the Thursday night loss to the Colts from 12 days ago that went to overtime, and the Colts eventually won, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
But what, this is what Sean Payton said a couple weeks ago. Remember we talked about this? I would look at everything that Russell Wilson did when he was with Seattle that worked, and I would make sure that that's incorporated into the offense, and I would use it. It's that simple. So I don't know if there's a philosophical thing here. Nathaniel Hackett's been waiting all these years to be a head coach. Now he's a head coach. It's his team, and he's going to make the square peg fit in the round hole, and he's not going to do what works for Russell Wilson. At some point, they've got to just take a step back and do what they know Russell has done in the past that has worked. And we see it in flashes, and I know you can't make that your base offense.
Yeah.
Hey, Russell, just run around until somebody's open. But maybe that's what they did in Seattle. Maybe we need to go back and look. And when we see what worked for Russell Wilson, it was run around and somebody pops open. Every once in a while, you would drop back and you would throw that 70-yard beautiful arc. But it's just not there unless he does get out of the pocket.
No, well, yes. But the problem is he's not going to be able to run and move like he used to. And he doesn't already. He just lost a step. So he's not as dangerous as that as far as that's concerned. And we saw, some progress in the last 2 years up in Seattle with him throwing in the pocket and dicing people up to. You'd think, well, okay, I know there's some new moving parts here and we're learning a new offense, but it should be, better than what it is. And Mike, again, I've watched just about every snap of them on the offensive side of the ball this year where I think they are doing things that he's supposed to be comfortable with. I'd love us to play that package of plays we just played in the last little 2 series, guys, there, Courtney, if we can. Just because, even there, Mike, there's fundamental flaws. Like, first off, where are we running there? The pocket was perfect. Why did we run? Okay, I know we got 9 yards.
You can't see. You can't see.
I know. I hear you, Mike.
At what point is that the issue? He can't see when he's in the pocket.
I understand that, but at times he's also like, it's just even the package before that, guys, the one we played before that, that was like 3 or 4 passes. Yeah, I understand. But at some point, too, he's got to, nobody can see perfectly in the NFL. You got to just be able to go, wait, through my studies, through where guys are lined up, this 20-yard out. Yeah, I don't see perfectly, but he's there. I got to throw it. And he's reluctant to do that. Like this play here is even scary. He didn't even see the safety across it. Good thing he threw a crap ball because Troy Aikman said it. That was going to be a pick. Here, it's step up in the pocket. Okay, I'm not necessarily disappointed with that one. That wasn't that bad. I get it, and that was a tough play. But we got another play coming up here where, again, there's another one where I go, that was fine. Stay there. You caused the chaos and the creation by moving. And there was a bunch of other plays throughout the night where I wish I could have clipped off for the show and said, hey, look at this. Why the hell is he moving? It's perfect. It's really head-scratching right now. His performance, what he's seeing, the panic in the pocket, first guy not open, let me look at the rush and just run around like a chicken with my head cut off. I didn't think we were going to see this with Russell Wilson in Denver.
Your criticism of Deshaun Watson back when he was actually playing football a couple of years ago was that he treated every play like it was the last play of the Super Bowl and he was trying to extend it and do too much every snap.
Sure.
I feel like Russell Wilson, despite the calm demeanor and the smile and all is well when he's talking to the media, I think inside there's a storm raging, and maybe he thinks any given snap he can turn it around. And he's feeling that pressure every time he has the ball to reverse now 6 weeks of frustration. And next game, it'll be 7 weeks of frustration. And he feels like there's so much on him in that moment, like the pressure on the guy to catch the punt. Like he feels that tremendous pressure constantly because he knows what people are saying. He knows how people are reacting to him. There has to be some sort of turmoil in the locker room. There has to be between the offense and the defense. I don't know if you noticed this, but at the end of the first half, he made sure he stood out there in the hallway and welcomed every member of the team into the locker room. Now, did he do that because he knew there was a camera there? Quite possibly. But I think they're doing everything they can to hold this thing together because he's the one that is going to be regarded, as this continues, as the main reason why it's not working. And I said before the show, I saw Drew Lock's name trending on Twitter, and I couldn't help but wonder whether the Broncos fans are saying, can we just have Drew Lock back at the trade deadline?
That'd be hilarious, right? Give us him back. Give him back to us. And we'll keep him here, and we'll keep Geno too. We actually don't even want Russell back. We'll keep Geno. We'll give you Drew Lock, and we'll go from there. That's from the Seattle perspective, but yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing right now what we're watching.
I wonder if Pete Carroll, that picture he tweeted after beating Cliff Kingsbury,
which was awesome, right?
I wonder if that's his setup when the Broncos are on in prime time too. I have a feeling that Pete's sitting there all chill and happy.
Right.
He's got to be. He's got to be. He'll never admit it.
This is amazing.
He's got to be loving every minute of this because he's been vindicated. Even though the Seahawks are 3-3, although in the NFC 3-3, hell, in the AFC 3-3, you're right in the thick of things.
All right.
But Geno Smith is playing great.
Yep.
And Russell is playing as poorly as he could have possibly played. Pete Carroll is vindicated by the first 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I think without a doubt. Or anybody that was been up in Seattle that, had beef with Russell Wilson or didn't like, the way he treated guys or the fact that he got too much attention. I think they're all smirking. As we saw last week or 2 weeks ago with Richard Sherman and company. I think there's a lot of people there that, rightly so. I think some took some cheap shots, certainly around there that haven't loved the way he's treated them or whatever else. And now they're basking in the glory of his, horrible football play. But I don't know.
You know what, though? Let me say one thing.
Let
me say one thing.
Yeah.
Because Richard Sherman's got this podcast now, and he put out a teaser last week that Marshawn Lynch was going to be on. And they created the impression in the teaser that Sherman and Lynch crap all over Wilson. And Lynch was actually very empathetic and very charitable toward what Russell's going through now. And I love Marshawn Lynch, and he gets it. And he's concerned about the mental health of guys who currently play and guys who did play. And he understands there's still a human being inside there. Despite everything that Russell tries to sell, there's still a guy in there who's trying to figure his life out. And he's trying to justify this huge contract. And he's trying to be the guy that the Broncos fans wanted to be. And it's got to be difficult. And I thought what Marshawn Lynch actually said was so much better. It was so easy to crap on the guy now. And I think what Lynch said, instead of this negativity that was teased by whoever produces and distributes the podcast, I think it was very well said by Marshawn Lynch. And at some point we do have to understand, even though by all appearances, Russell Wilson hasn't made, and of course he wants us all to think he's got it made and to envy his life, and it's so great. Right now, he's going through some stuff. He is, just like Tom Brady, and these guys are human beings, and we need to. It's easy to pile on, but we need to remember that at the core, there's some stuff that they're both dealing with right now. And it doesn't make life easy for either of them.
No. Well, and people, the thing I think that's bad is people get personal, and that's where it goes, it crosses the line. And, again, not that you have to love Russell Wilson, but, people talk.
Like we said last week, nobody said anything while he's playing well.
That's right.
They all harbor this resentment, and they
Right.
think now that he's playing poorly, we can crap all over him because he doesn't matter to us anymore. We don't need to get him on our show anymore. We don't want him on our show anymore, so we can say what we really think.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If you had an issue with the guy, say it when he's
Right.
great,
Right.
like I do about Aaron Rodgers, although I guess he's not that great.
Well, not right now.
We are
but-
seeing this golden age of quarterbacks where we had
Well,
intersection of great young quarterbacks and these older quarterbacks. The older guys are starting to fall
You're
apart
seeing
before
it.
our eyes.
You're seeing it, and no doubt about it. That's 100%. They're not in the other. They're right now. They're not in the class of the young guys. They are not. And again, we can get into Sunday and those two freaks of nature in Kansas City and Buffalo. Though they stand alone as the two best quarterbacks in football. There's a gap between them and the rest of everybody else. And then you can start talking about the Burrows and the Herberts and Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. And then maybe you start to get to the old guys. Jalen Hurts, maybe you throw him into the conversation this year. I mean, but yeah, it's certainly not, let me talk about Brady, Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan, or Aaron Rodgers right now. Absolutely not. They're not in the same stratosphere as some of these young guns. And you're right, it is kind of like alarming to see, and especially with Russell Wilson, because it's so all over the place, and it's so inconsistent, and it's bad reads, and it's Mike. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe it's the pressure to want to make something happen. But there's a side of me too that goes, or is it the pressure of not wanting to make a mistake too? That's the other thing that I come away with, right?
All of it.
I know.
The
maybe
blender gets turned on
Yeah,
high every
yeah.
time the ball ends up in his hands. I
Yeah.
think it's everything.
Right.
He doesn't want to make another mistake, and he wants to reverse all the mistakes he's made, and it gets compounded, and it's more pressure on him each and every time in each and every game, and we're going to see it again, and we're going to see it against the the Jaguars, coming up on a Sunday morning from London in a couple of weeks, in the fifth of their 7 standalone games this year.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're gonna see. I mean, the thing that's alarming is we saw them come out of the gates and look good, and then or have moments of looking good to go, well, this thing in Denver here has got a chance, and we haven't seen really anything that even resembles the second half of the Seattle game since that. And in a lot of ways, I could sit there and go, I think it's gone the actual opposite direction, other than just a few random big plays. Like,
well, the drive against the 49ers.
Exactly.
Right? They'd be 1-5 right now, but for that drive.
Exactly. The drive against the 49ers, there's 2 or 3 throws against the Raiders, even though they lost the game. And then last night, there's the 3 throws. Other than that, it is below average football, and I don't know where they go from here. This is a tough one. And again, I think they're doing their best to try to organize the offense, Mike, to make it feel comfortable for him. Even last night, again, a lot of concepts where everything is outside makes him feel comfortable. He does not want to throw in the middle because of what you said earlier. I guess he can't see it clearly enough. It's always been an issue, but right now it seems like it's more of an issue than ever before. And because they can't get other things going, it's even more glaring that they don't attack that part of the football field. We could think about it last night again too, where think off the top of your head, Mike, really, do you remember him throwing a ball in a tight window down the middle of the field the whole night? I didn't plan on even going here, but as I think about it, I go, I can't really remember a throw off the top of my head.
Those guys are all wide open.
Right.
I mean, the ones that were completed were wide open.
Right. But I don't remember one where, hey, drop back for 5 hitch, and, he hit the tight end in between the weak linebacker and the middle linebacker. Nothing like that. It doesn't exist in their offense, and then it's just hard to exist and be creative or be good on that side of the ball without some of these elements they're missing right now.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.